Islands are nature's laboratories. Cut off from the mainland, sometimes for millions of years, the animals stranded on them had no choice but to change. No predators to run from, no competition to fight off. Different food, different climate, different rules. And so evolution went to work, quietly, patiently, over millions of years, producing animals so strange, so specialized, so completely unlike anything on the mainland, that seeing them for the first time feels like visiting a different planet. These animals exist on one island, only one, and nowhere else on Earth. Welcome to Flora Fauna. 1. Galápagos Islands, marine iguana, Amblyrhynchus cristatus. The Galápagos Islands sit 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador, and they produced the only ocean-swimming lizard on Earth. The marine iguana dives to depths of 30 feet, holds its breath for 30 minutes, and grazes on algae from underwater rocks, then drags itself back onto black lava to warm in the sun. It sneezes salt through specialized nasal glands. Charles Darwin described it as hideous and most disgusting. It is the only lizard on Earth that feeds in the ocean, and it exists because an island gave it nowhere else to go. 2. Madagascar. II, Daubentonia madagascariensis. Madagascar separated from the African continent 160 million years ago. The animals that were on it when it drifted away evolved in complete isolation, producing creatures found absolutely nowhere else. The II is the strangest of them. Its middle finger is skeletal, 3 times longer than the others, used to tap on bark and listen for hollow cavities where insect larvae are hiding. It fills the ecological role of a woodpecker, but it is a primate, a woodpecker primate, with a skeletal finger, found only on Madagascar. 3. Komodo Island, Komodo dragon, Varanus komodoensis. The Komodo dragon exists on 4 small Indonesian islands, and nowhere else. It reaches 10 feet in length and 150 pounds, the largest lizard on Earth, and hunts deer, pigs, and water buffalo many times its own size. For decades, scientists believed its bite was lethal due to bacteria. They were wrong. Its saliva contains venom, anticoagulant compounds that prevent blood from clotting, causing prey to weaken progressively from blood loss after a single bite. It then follows, patiently, for days if necessary, until the animal that was bitten simply stops. 4. New Zealand, Tuatara, Sphenodon punctatus. New Zealand has been isolated for 80 million years, and the Tuatara has been on it for most of that time. It is the only surviving member of an ancient reptile order that lived alongside dinosaurs. Every other member of its order, Rhynchocephalia, is extinct. It has a third eye on the top of its head, visible in juveniles, covered by scales in adults, sensitive to light and used to regulate circadian rhythms. It grows for 35 years, lives for over 100. A living fossil on an island old enough to have kept it alive, while everything related to it disappeared everywhere else. 5. Socotra Island, Socotra chameleon and dragon, blood trees, Chamaelio monachus. Socotra Island sits in the Arabian Sea, so isolated that 37% of its plant species and a significant portion of its animals exist nowhere else on Earth. The dragon blood tree, its trunk like an upturned umbrella, its sap deep red, is its most famous resident. But the Socotra chameleon, found only on this island, navigates these alien landscapes in complete solitude from its mainland relatives, evolving color patterns and behaviors seen in no other chameleon population on Earth. Socotra looks like another planet. Its animals confirm the impression. 6. Hawaii, Nēnē goose, Branta sandwichensis. The Nēnē is Hawaii's state bird, and it descended from Canada geese that landed on the Hawaiian Islands hundreds of thousands of years ago and never left. With no land predators to run from, it lost the strong webbing between its toes that its ancestors used for swimming, its feet gradually adapting to walking on sharp lava rock instead. It forgot how to be a water bird. It became a lava field bird, the same species, a completely different animal, shaped entirely by the island it landed on. 7. Borneo, Proboscis monkey, Nassalis larvatus. The Proboscis monkey exists only on the island of Borneo, and its most distinctive feature is immediately obvious. The male's nose grows continuously throughout its life, reaching lengths that hang below the chin, so large they must be pushed aside to eat. The nose amplifies calls, a larger nose producing a louder, more resonant sound that carries further through the forest and signals genetic quality to females. It is also an excellent swimmer, one of the few monkeys that regularly crosses rivers and has been observed swimming underwater. A long-nosed, river-swimming monkey, found only on one island, because that island, and its particular pressures, made this exact animal. 8. Aldabra Atoll. Aldabra giant tortoise. Aldabra gigantea. Aldabra Atoll in the Indian Ocean holds the world's largest population of giant tortoises, over 100,000 individuals. After the Galápagos tortoise, the only other giant tortoise remaining on Earth, it reaches 550 pounds and lives for over 150 years. When food is scarce, it stands on its hind legs and stretches its neck upward to reach vegetation, a behavior that has, over generations, shaped the vegetation itself, creating a browse line at tortoise height across the entire island. The tortoise shaped its own landscape. The landscape shaped the tortoise. 150,000 years of mutual influence on an atoll most people have never heard of. 9. Sulawesi. Babirusa. The Babirusa of Sulawesi, Indonesia, carries tusks that grow upward through its own skull, piercing through the skin of its snout and curving back toward its forehead. In old males, the upper tusks can complete a full circle and begin growing back into the skull itself. They serve no apparent practical hunting or feeding function. They may be purely for display, a signal of age and survival to rivals and potential mates. A pig with tusks growing through its own face, found only on Sulawesi, because isolation allows evolution to produce things that have no equivalent anywhere else. 10. Zanzibar. Zanzibar red Colobus. Colobus kirki. The Zanzibar red Colobus exists only on the island of Zanzibar, off the coast of Tanzania. It eats charcoal, deliberately, regularly. Charcoal from burned wood, charcoal from cook fires in villages. The monkeys seek it out and consume it in quantities that puzzled researchers until the explanation emerged. Their diet consists largely of unripe leaves containing plant toxins. The charcoal absorbs those toxins in the digestive tract before they can be absorbed into the bloodstream. A monkey that self-medicates with charcoal, that figured out toxicology through trial and error over generations. On one island, nowhere else. 11. Flores Island. Flores giant rat and pygmy elephant. Historical fauna. Flores Island in Indonesia is the site of one of the most remarkable paleontological discoveries of the 21st century. In 2003, researchers excavating a cave found the remains of a previously unknown human species, Homo floresiensis, standing just 3 feet tall, who lived on the island until approximately 50,000 years ago. They shared the island with pygmy elephants, giant rats, and Komodo dragons. The island's isolation produced miniaturized versions of large animals, the elephants shrinking due to limited resources, and giant versions of small ones, the rats growing larger in the absence of predators. Island rule, operating in both directions simultaneously, on the same island, at the same time. 12. Canary Islands. El Hierro giant lizard. Galotia simonyi. The El Hierro giant lizard was declared extinct in the 19th century. Then, in 1975, a small population was discovered, surviving on an inaccessible cliff face on El Hierro, the smallest of the Canary Islands, where they had persisted undetected for over a century. They reach nearly 4 feet in length. They are herbivores, unusual for a lizard of this size, eating fruit, flowers, and leaves in a landscape that has been their entire world for millions of years. Declared extinct, found alive, on a cliff that protected them from the humans who were looking. The island kept its secret for 100 years. 13. Sri Lanka. Purple-faced langur, Trachypithecus vetulus. Sri Lanka's isolation from the Indian subcontinent produced several primate species found nowhere else, including the purple-faced langur, whose dark face and silver body make it one of the most visually distinctive monkeys in Asia. It lives in Sri Lanka's rainforests and urban areas, one of the few primates that has successfully adapted to living alongside humans in cities while remaining distinct from any mainland relative. Its calls carry through urban neighborhoods at dawn. A monkey evolved in island isolation, now navigating a world its ancestors never encountered. Still adapting, still surviving, still found only here. 14. Tasmania. Tasmanian devil, Sarcophilus harrisii. The Tasmanian devil once lived across mainland Australia. Then, approximately 3,000 years ago, Likely due to the introduction of dingoes, it disappeared from the mainland entirely. It survived only on Tasmania, where dingoes never reached. The island saved it. It is the world's largest carnivorous marsupial, with a bite force proportionally stronger than almost any other mammal, and it screams. Its calls, produced during feeding and territorial disputes, are among the most unsettling sounds in the animal kingdom. Saved by an island, surviving on an island. The mainland that produced it has not seen one in 3,000 years. 15. Galápagos Islands. Galápagos penguin, Spheniscus mendicanus. We end where modern evolutionary science began. The Galápagos penguin is the only penguin that lives north of the equator, surviving on tropical islands through a combination of cool currents from Antarctica and behavioral adaptations that no other penguin has needed to develop. It spreads its flippers to shade its feet from tropical sun. It pants like a dog to release heat. It nests in lava tubes to escape the equatorial temperatures that should make its existence here impossible. A penguin, in the tropics, panting in the shade of a lava field, because an island and the currents around it made one more impossible thing possible. Thank you for island hopping with us today. This is Flora Fauna.